If your F-1 international student visa or SEVIS have been unjustly terminated by the consulate or by ICE, you got an email notifying suddenly it's been canceled for some bogus reason that is just unfathomable to you, you should file a temporary restraining order to revert your status back to a student and then get an injunction against the government to restore your status. Now, to file a good temporary restraining order, there are 4 arguments you need to make. Number 1, that you will likely win on the merits of the case, that you have an underlying good argument that you deserve to win. So the judge can grant you this temporary restraining order to revert your status, this preliminary injunction to revert your status. The second one, you will suffer irreparable harm. In this case, when your SEVIS is terminated, when your visa is terminated, you want to make all of these arguments against ICE, saying that their decision to terminate your status without clear guidance on why they did it. Now everything is wasted and you are suffering. The third argument, you're not suing the government for $1 billion. You're suing them just so that you can get your status back. All you're asking is to go back to where you were. It's an equity that is balanced in your favor. And number 4, that it makes sense for public policy to grant this. It makes sense that the United States has a fair and equitable and good international student program. If the government can just willy-nilly deny all of these international student status just because of an accusation of a traffic violation of something so small, then the rest of the world would not want to come to the United States. They will not, the elites of other societies will not send their students here, get a Western education, and go back to their home country to develop their country. It harms the United States' best interest. It will cause a chilling effect on this great nation's international program. That's the first thing you need to do to get a TRO. The second thing is you want to choose a good venue where you have a high chance of success. In the United States, your immigration status is governed by federal law, not state law. There are 13 circuits in the United States. Not all of them are immigrant friendly. We are here in the 9th district in California, so we are suing in the 9th district. 9th district is historically been more liberal and been more immigrant friendly. I'm not trying to put down different states. That's just the nature of our federal system. That makes our nation great when there's different circuit courts that rule differently, and that's what leads to the Supreme Court. If you want to win this preliminary injunction, you definitely don't want to start it in a state where it's going to deny you, and then you appeal it to a Supreme Court, and then you revert back to getting your case approved, right? You'd rather start in a circuit that you will be winning and let the government appeal their losses up to the Supreme Court. Now you might be saying, I don't live in California, I don't live in the 9th district, I can't file there. That's why we are doing a class action lawsuit. We are pulling multiple clients together, and as long as one client resides in the 9th district, everybody can sue based on that, and because also the same defendant, right? It's the same policy, the same defendant, and as long as one person is here in a favorable immigration district, we can sue here. So we spent the last week pulling different clients together, and we have clients here in the 9th district already, and that's why we're filing the lawsuit here. We have the arguments ready, and the last step, right? The first step is to have a good argument for the TRO and the preliminary injunction and the permanent injunction. The second thing is finding a good venue so you have a favorable chance of winning. We got both of those down already. The third thing is timing. We want to file this case fast. So every single case that we take in, we will promise to file it within 7 business days. And that's, of course, after you give us the necessary documents. But again, the documents are very, very little. You can do it in less than half an hour. What do we need? We need that email notification where your status has been terminated, because that is the first time the government gave you any notice, and that's just completely wrong. So we need that document to prove this is completely outrageous. If you have the documents, maybe the traffic violation, maybe it was the accusation, maybe it's the minor arrest record that, preceded this event. Maybe you got arrested 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and based on that, now the government is terminating your status. We would like to have that as well. And then it's just the basic documents from you, the I-20s, the visa, your grades, and talk about your little statement in an email, why this will harm you. We pull that together, and we will file this lawsuit on behalf of your entire family. We're not doing any additional charges for your spouse, for your children. We're waiving all the fees for the dependents. We are doing this class action, doing this as a low bono, right? Not pro bono. We can't do this for free, but we're doing it at a very inexpensive cost, pulling everybody together because we want to hold the government accountable for their random actions, right? I don't want to say malicious just yet, but it was irresponsible. It's negligent. It is harming this great country. I love the United States. I love the immigration system that we have. I love international students. I studied abroad myself, multiple places in the world, and I know how it feels to be an international student. And so this action by my government, I feel like it's irresponsible, and I want to let them know that. So please, if you have been terminated in the past few weeks, and I know it's extremely stressful, think about doing the temporary restraining order, think about the preliminary injunction, and of course, think of all the other steps that you need to do in order to correct your status. We could talk about all of that. But hopefully, that's a good kind of preview of exactly what we're talking about. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.